Hey guys, what's up? Scottish Duck here once again. Okay, now, this was supposed to be, or at least I hoped it was going to be, a review slash thoughts on Bravely Second End Layer. This is the sequel to Bravely Default on the 3DS. Bravely Default was one of my favourite games on the 3DS, like a couple years ago when it came out. Wonderful JRPG, not because it was such a good game in its own right, but because apparently, according to Square, it really opened their eyes on what, like, JRPGs were in the West at the time it came out, you know, because they sort of released it, and they didn't really release it themselves. They had Nintendo do it all for them, more or less, as far as I know, because Nintendo published it outside of Japan, and it was a hit. It was like, Bravely Default sold well and outside Japan. Really? Was that like? It felt like that was their attitude. So, yeah. Apparently, they said, "Okay, we'll reevaluate our business. We're gonna like really try and push JRPGs in the West." All was looking well. Now they did sort of a 180, and now the new Hitman game is always online. But anyway. That's not what this video is about. We could moan about Square a lot, and I love moaning about Square, but I want to moan about something else, something that's kind of been in my mind a lot over the past couple of years, some sort of like psychological thing that I want to talk about, and I want to see if anybody feels the same way as I do at times, okay? And, because the thing is, right, Bravely Second End Layer, right, it's a good game, okay? It is a good game. It's well made, okay? It's well written, it's got a really good combat system. Yeah, it's good. I would say I recommend it. But the thing about it though is that it is the same game as the first, but not as good, you know? It's not got as good music, it's not got as good characters and story. Yeah, in general, it really doesn't do much at all to distinguish itself from the first game, you know? And not in a way that like sort of impresses me anyway. And you know, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, okay? Like a game can release and be very similar to the first one and still be as fun, you know? That's all good. But it really did something to me that's happened before, and that's what we're going to talk about. And that's that feeling that you start playing an RPG, right? I say it could be any game to be honest, but I'm going to go with JRPG mainly because they take a long fucking time, right? I'm actually on my 35th or so hour in Bravely Second, and I've kind of decided to stop playing it. And yeah, so those are games that take a long time, and they're very like... Okay, here's the struggle I go through with, right? Bravely Default is obviously quite a revered game, you know, it gets a lot of praise, got really good reviews, and this one got really good reviews as well. So as a result, my mindset is like, oh, this is a good JRPG. I need to play it, you know? Like, I don't debate it. It's like I need to go play it because it's very well revered. You know, that's how I like pick my JRPGs this day. Isn't that sad? And I'll be playing a JRPG, and I'll kind of like go into. I'll maybe enjoy it a bit, but after a while, I'll go into like sort of autopilot. Like I'll just be like, no. And eventually it'll get to the point where I'm not really having as much fun as I want to. Okay, maybe it's because I'm not really that interested in the game itself. I want to go into something else, or just in general, I'm not feeling it. Okay? And that definitely happened with Bravely Second, you know? I'm playing it and I'm like, I kind of want to go play something else. But then there's like another voice in my head that's like, no, you've already put so much into this game, okay? You're gonna beat it. I mean, this is supposed to be a good game. You should like this, okay? You should beat this. And yeah, that's like, and then I'm like, well, yeah, you're right. I'll stick at it, you know. And it keeps going back and forth like that. I'll go back to it, but I'll not have as fun. But then I'll just like say to myself, no, you really should play it. And yeah, very rarely will I actually give up on the game itself. But by the time I've beaten it, you know, there's no like satisfaction. I was like, oh, that was a really good game. The only satisfaction is, oh my god, it's done, yes, I can go into my next one. And that's not a good thing. That's not a good feeling to have, is it? You know, this like feeling of relief at the end of a game, not because it was so good and you're happy it's over, but because you are just happy that it's over, that you can go into something else. And if I was to continue with Bravely Second, I'm sure that would have been the case. But that feeling is still there that I really should go back and at least beat it, because again, I put so much time into it. A lot of people wouldn't really tolerate something like that, you know, the second they start, like, not enjoying a game, even a little bit, they tend to just be like, alright, put that to the side, let's go into something else, you know? And, yeah, but I'm not like most people, it seems, you know, I'm just like, I need to keep playing this. So, yeah, I just wanted to ask, does anybody else get that feeling? You know, that feeling that, because I can give you a bunch of examples of games that I either beaten or, like, you know, didn't beat because that feeling sort of overcame me. One of which, like, was Tales of Vesperia, actually, massive Tales fan. And the same thing actually happened with Tales of Symphonia before it as well. It wasn't until after I'd beaten those two games, and then years later I played Tales of the Abyss, and I became like the massive Tales fan I am today. But yeah, those two games, when I first played them, they dragged for me, you know, all the way to the end. I'm just like, fuck's sake, end already, you know? I've went back and played Tales of Symphonia since then, and I've come to like it, but I've not went back to play Tales of Vesperia, and I don't know if I would love that game now, with this sort of like Tales-centric mindset I had. But all I know is back in the day was, yeah, I fucking hated that. Well, again, hate's a strong word. I never hate it. I'm just like always wanting it to end. And here's one that will definitely get me a lot of hate. Chrono Trigger, okay? One of the, in fact, yeah, the most revered Japanese RPG of all time. I got that on the DS, because that was the only version that was ever released over here. I can't remember a fucking thing that happened in that game. I was playing that game completely. Not because I was really like loving it and wanting to get through it all, but because I'm just like, alright, let's keep going, we want this to end, we want this done, okay, it's done. I now have an opinion on Chrono Trigger, I can move on with my life. That was the attitude I had with that game. And, yeah, I have a feeling that the discussion is now going to be, how could you hate Chrono Trigger? But I don't hate Chrono Trigger, I'm just saying I had that attitude towards it, that I just wanted it to end because it wasn't gripping me as much as I felt like, you know? Truthfully, I probably should have stopped it, playing it, if I was feeling like that, but I didn't because, again, it has this reputation and I just wanted an opinion on it. That's probably the main thing, really. It's such a, like, psychological battle that goes in my head. I'm probably making it sound more serious than it is, but it's interesting to me, you know? It's like, does anybody else get like that? Not even with, like, JRPGs, with any games, you know? You just feel like you should beat it, maybe because you put a certain amount of time into it, or maybe it's because, like, you bought it, or you have some sort of other investment in it other than those things, so... But at the same time, you only play games because you want them finished. That shouldn't be the case. That really, really shouldn't be the case, and I'm going to try and not have that happen anymore, right? Whenever I sit down and play a game, I should be enjoying it, full stop, you know? Like, I was just playing Bloodborne the day, you know? Brilliant game, but I'm probably going to stop playing that as well, you know? Not because it's bad at all, but because it's getting to a point where it's like, okay, I could keep playing this for hours and hours, getting past all these really hard bits and shit, or I could just take the experience that I've gotten with it now and go into something else. That's probably what I'm going to do. Because I did the same thing with like Dark Souls and Demon's Souls and stuff, you know, just played them for about 20 hours or so and then just stopped because I had my fill, you know. So, yeah, that's probably like a whole other can of worms itself, you know, having your fill of a certain game as opposed to like just wanting it done. But I'm not out of the place here. Basically, what I'm saying is here, does anybody else sort of get this feeling of you just should play a game just to beat it? Not because you're enjoying it, but because you feel obligated somehow to just beat it, okay? So, yeah, let me know, guys. Very interested to hear about this one. Tell me about any games that maybe you had that sort of feeling with. I could probably go on with like a few more, to be honest. Like, what else? What else did that do? Let's think of one more, shall we? I feel like I've been looking at I've had my back to the camera long enough that I should at least offer that much. Shadow Hearts Covenant. Shadow Hearts Covenant. That seemed like a really awesome game. You know, I actually really liked the first one, but I started playing that and I'm like, I'm not feeling this, and I never beat it. So, yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Yeah. That's it. That's all I've got to say, guys. See you after. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.